Good morning. Welcome, everybody, to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Chattanooga. My name is Wendy Sapp, and I am chair of the Religious Education Program, and I am delighted to be helping with the service this morning, along with the children, the teens, and the volunteers, and our director of the Religious Education Program. So we got a lot of people involved today. This morning we are going to be greeting each other, and I need you guys to help me. I'm going to read a line, and then you're going to say, "You are welcome here." So let's make sure everybody knows their line. You are welcome here. Try it again.
You are welcome here.
Excellent. All right, so ready? Whether you love the holidays or feel like the Grinch,
you are welcome here.
Whether you fit in wherever you go, or whether you feel like Rudolph, that you're a misfit, you are welcome here. Whether everything in your life comes together perfectly, or everything you touch turns into a Charlie Brown Christmas tree, you are welcome here. Whether you celebrate Christmas, or Hanukkah, or Diwali, or Yule, or Kwanzaa, or all of the above, or none of the above, thank you. Nicholas, will you come read our opening words?
And the Grinch with his Grinch feet. And the Grinch with his Grinch feet, ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so? It came without ribbons. It came without tags. It came without packages, boxes, or bags. And he puzzled 3 hours till his puzzler was sore. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more.
And our chalice lighting words come from another Christmas classic. And Caden, will you come forward? You'll find the words to read along with Caden in your order of service, and then Caden will light our chalice.
From what I see now, that will cut through the murkiest storm they can dish up. What I'm trying to say is, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? We light this chalice to guide our sleigh today, and through whatever sorrows may come.
And that was a great lead-in to our next song, our opening song, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and I'd like to welcome Charla to lead us in that song. Feel free to throw in extra ho-ho-hos or any of the extras that go along, and please stand as you are willing and able.
So, can you guys hear me? Because I can't hear me. So, yes, we can't do this without the jazzy beginning, in my opinion. Therefore, here we go. You know, Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen. I got to see my chords over here. Comet and Cupid and Donder and Blitzen. But do you recall the most famous reindeer of all? the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would even say it glows like a light bulb. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer game. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Then how the reindeer loved him, and they shouted out with glee, Yippee! Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in history.
As you guys can tell, this is not going to be a normal service this morning. Why are you laughing? I don't understand. All right. This morning, the kids, as I told you, the kids, the teens, the volunteers, the director of our religious education program are putting on a service to celebrate a variety of holidays that we celebrate in winter or festivals of light. And I want to begin by saying that I take full responsibility for any flaws in this service. I did my best to research, to consult with people of these different cultures, but anything that I'm misrepresenting is my fault, not the fault of these wonderful people helping with the service this morning. We hope that this service is going to have something for everybody. However, if you have a little one who gets antsy and needs to go downstairs, we do have the nursery open. We also invite all the kids, even if they haven't been here before, to help out. So if you would like to be part of that, then you are welcome when we come to parts of the service where we're inviting kids to come light candles, to come up and join and do that, okay? So I also want to thank everybody who's part of today, but first I want to point out our wonderful, brand new, first Sunday interim music director, Selena Duncan. Yay! And now I want to be sure everybody who is part of this service you know who they are, and they don't have to introduce themselves. So if you're part of this service, if you'll stand up, and all you have to do is turn around and face everybody and say your name.
Gray, Camille,
Nicholas,
Milo, David,
Sally,
Caden,
Dylan,
Talia,
Zinnia,
Charla.
And we've got more.
Judy.
Do you want to say your name?
Avery, River, Autumn.
Excellent. Thank you, guys. Did I miss anybody? Okay. Now, we don't want the rest of you to feel left out. So the kids now are, oops, did I just turn us off? All right. The kids are going to grab a couple of baskets up here right now. Come on, guys. Anybody who wants to help with it. And we're going to pass these candles around, and everybody pick a candle. We're not going to light the candle this morning, but we are. Okay, can you guys help the little ones help pass out the candles? Give them a chance to. And you pick a candle. At the end of the service, you're welcome to take it home and light it at home, or the kids will leave the baskets in the back, and you can drop your candles off there if you would like. Now, while they're doing that, let me tell you a little bit. This service was based on a book that I read a few years ago called Winter Candle by Jerome Ashford. And in this story, I just want to give him credit for the spark of inspiration for this story. In this story, the residents of an apartment building pass around a candle as they celebrate their different holidays and their different winter traditions. That's about the only connection there is to our story today, but I just wanted to give him credit for the spark of inspiration here. While they finish handing out candles, I'm going to invite Gray up to begin our service. And as they're coming up, Gray is going to be our storyteller today. And they're going to tell a little bit of a story. The kids and the other RE volunteers are going to do a few things. They'll tell a little bit more of the story. Then we're going to have a meditation, back and forth. A little bit more story, a little bit more candle lighting and offering. A little bit more story, a little bit more candle lighting. I just wanted you guys to know the structure because it's a little bit different than what we're used to around here. So here we go.
Rashmika hurried from the bathroom. She was scrubbed clean and ready to celebrate the first day of Diwali. Outside, the cold wind whipped the dried leaves along the sidewalk and rattled the windows of their apartment. She had spent all day helping her family clean their home and create colorful patterns of sand called rangolis to celebrate good overcoming evil. As she danced into the living room, her foot caught on the edge of the end table, and the bottle of oil spilled onto the floor. "Oh no," she cried. Her mother turned around and quickly began wiping up the oil before it could spread to the rug. "What will we do?" Rashmika cried. "We can't celebrate the Festival of Lights without oil to light the diyas." "It will be all right," her mother said. "Let's see what else we have." The rest of the family joined in, and they searched every drawer, coming up with a handful of candles. "These will do," Rashmika's father said. "But there is still one diya without a candle," Rashmika protested. "We can't leave it dark." "Run next door and see if Mr. De Jesus has a candle we can borrow," her mother suggested. Rashmika hurried out of the apartment and across the hall. "I'm so sorry," Mr. De Jesus said. "All I have is this stumpy green candle." "It's perfect," Rashmika said, hugging Mr. De Jesus. "Thank you." She ran back to her apartment, and her family lit their colorful diyas to light up the night. "Dylan, will you please come up and tell us a little bit about Diwali while the children light our diyas?"
Hello. Diwali is one of the most important festivals in Hinduism and is celebrated over a 5 or 6 day period in the fall or winter, with the time shifting with the lunar calendar. The celebration celebrates the spiritual victory of good over evil and knowledge over ignorance. Like Rashmiki's family, we are lighting our dijas with candles rather than oil. If you chose a small, square, colorful candle, like the brightly colored dijas, hold it up high, please, so everyone can see. Square colored candle. Thank you.
Several weeks later, the Green family was preparing for the last night of Hanukkah. The cat was prowling about in the kitchen in hopes of getting a taste of the delicious potato latkes or some of the sour cream that went on top. He had enjoyed the tasty droppings and had even nibbled some chocolate gelt coins that the children had received earlier in the holiday. He jumped on the counter and nosed a jar of applesauce. "Scat!" cried Mr. Green, running the cat out of the kitchen. The cat leapt down from the counter, raced into the living room, and up onto the dining table before disappearing into Eli's bedroom. In his mad dash across the table, he bumped the menorah, and one of the candles rolled off the table, across the uneven wooden floors, and landed beneath an old metal radiator that kept the room warm. When it came time to light the menorah, the Green family was perplexed. Where was the 9th candle? They looked on the table. They looked under the table. They looked in the drawer in case it hadn't been taken out yet. They checked their pockets. They looked under the couch. And that was when Eli saw it. The candle that had rolled under the radiator had melted into a puddle of warm wax. "Uh-oh," he said, pointing to what was left of the candle. "What will we do? The oil lasted 8 days. We need to light the 8th candle tonight." "Run downstairs and see if Rashmika's family has a candle we can borrow," Mr. Green said. So Eli took off down the staircase. In no time at all, he was back with the candle Rashmika had borrowed from Mr. De Jesus. It was a little shorter now, but still glowed brightly when lit. "Sally, will you please come up and tell us a little about Hanukkah while the children light the menorah?"
Hanukkah is a Jewish festival celebrating the recovery of Jerusalem and rededication of the temple in the 2nd century BCE. The center candle, called the shamash, is lit first and then used to light one additional candle each night. A new candle is added to the right of the menorah each night and lit from the leftmost candle to the right. This year, Hanukkah will begin at sunset tonight. But in keeping with the time frame of our story, we will light all the candles on the menorah this morning. If you have a small, slender, colored candle like this, please raise it high. Beautiful. Thank you. And now we have a song, Stand As You Are Willing and Able, in body and spirit, to join us in singing the Kindle the Candles one by one. Words are in your order of service. You, and I give you guys extra credit because that is a new song, I think, to almost all of us, and you guys did great singing it. Thank you. We're going to pause here in the middle of our story and take a minute to settle and to meditate. So first, let's get our wiggles out. Wiggle your arms, wiggle your legs, wiggle your hands, your feet, your fingers, your toes, and settle down. Find a nice, comfortable place where your body is relaxed. And take a deep breath in. And let a deep breath out. Another breath. And out. Continue to breathe deeply.
I'm going to ring a chime. Listen to that chime go into the silence. And when I ring that chime the second time, our Director of Religious Education, Camille Mason, will assist you in lighting the candles. And you're welcome to come forward and light a candle of joy or concern. Camille is now lighting additional candles for those watching on YouTube and for all the joys and concerns that remain unspoken this morning. And Gray, will you come continue our story?
Paige and Eric ran excitedly down the street to the neighborhood garden on the corner as the sun dropped low in the sky. The cold wind reddened their cheeks, but they were excited. Once in the garden, they found a small evergreen tree, and Mommy cut a few branches. Another bush sported bright red berries, and they gladly trimmed a few clumps. While Mommy gathered the clippings, Mom said, "See if you can find some other natural things we can use in our Yule altar." The kids darted around the garden, brushing away snow and peering inside raised beds, discovering a handful of rocks, 2 pine cones the squirrels had not yet chewed to bits, and some stones. The family carried their collection back to the apartment, dripping melting snow in the door as they shed their coats and boots and gloves. They gathered in the corner of the apartment and intentionally arranged the greenery, the berries, the pine cones, and the rocks in honor of Yule. "Tonight is the winter solstice," Mommy explained. "It is the shortest night of the year. We don't have a place to burn a Yule log this year like we did in our old house, but we will burn a candle to light up the night instead," Mom added. There was a pause. Mom looked at Mommy. Mommy looked at Mom. Paige and Eric looked at them both. "Where's the candle?" Mom asked Mommy. "I thought you got the candle," Mommy said to Mom. Well, this was a problem, but Paige and Eric had a solution. "We'll go ask Eli," they volunteered. "I bet he has a candle we can use." They darted across the hall and knocked on Eli's door. When he answered, Eric asked, "Do you have a candle we can borrow?" "We need it for our Yule altar," Paige added. "Sure," said Eli, and in no time at all, he handed them the candle his family had borrowed for Hanukkah. Wax had dripped down the sides, and it was beginning to look a little lumpier, but it would still burn brightly. "Thanks," the kids called as they took the candle home. Their moms added the candle to the altar, its green wax complementing it beautifully. They lit the wick, and the altar glowed brightly as the sun began to set. "Talia, will you come forward and explain a little about modern-day Yule traditions while the children light the candles?"
Hey everybody. Yule is an ancient Germanic tradition that has evolved throughout the centuries, as have all holidays. Today, many pagan practitioners celebrate Yule on the winter solstice, marking the longest night of the year and the return of the sun as the days then begin to lengthen. Many traditions surround a Yule log, a large log that would often burn for many days. Our Yule candles today are tea lights inserted into a ceremonial Yule log. So, if you chose a tea light when the candles came around, you can hold it up now. No tea light choosing? Colorful candles kind of won everyone over. And I think we're going to have our own Yule log this winter solstice. Is that correct? So if you love Yule, then please come share with us on the 21st.
On Sunday afternoon, in the Kingsley apartment, the Christmas tree lights twinkled, stockings hung on the wall, and presents were hidden away in closets and under beds. Christmas music played throughout the apartment, mixing Frosty the Snowman and Jingle Bells with Silent Night and Joy to the World. Martha was in her room, wrapping the presents she had made at school for her parents and her younger brothers, Ryan and Peter. Peter and Ryan playing with the wooden nativity set their family put out each year. Ryan placed Mary and Joseph on either side of a baby Jesus in the manger. Peter arranged sheep and donkeys and a cow around them as if they were in a stable. The shepherds, a tall figure with a staff and another with a sheep draped over his shoulder, stood with the animals. 3 figures wearing crowns and carrying presents were off to the side. The wise men wouldn't arrive until Christmas Day. "Martha," called Mrs. Kingsley, "it's time to light the Advent candle." Martha joined her family in the living room, and they gathered around a wreath laid flat on a small table beside the Christmas tree. It held 4 candle holders, one for each of the 4 weeks leading up to Christmas and the birth of baby Jesus. "Wait a minute," Peter called out. "Where's the pink candle?" He was right. The 3 purple candles stood tall above the wreath, but the pink candle was missing. The Kingsleys looked at each other, but each of them had the same confused expression on their face. They looked around the tree and then searched the entire living room. Nothing. The candle had vanished. "Ryan," said Mr. Kingsley, "why don't you see if anyone has a candle we can borrow?" Ryan knocked on the door across the hall. "Hey, Eric," Ryan said when the door opened. "Do you have a candle we can borrow? One of our Advent candles disappeared." "Sure," said Eric, and inside the apartment, Paige called, "I'll get it." She handed Ryan the stumpy green candle, now only a few inches high. "This is the only one we have right now. Will it do?" "It's perfect," Ryan answered. "Thank you." Back home, Martha was not convinced the candle was perfect. It was green, not pink, and short, not tall, like the others. But her father said, no matter its color, it will light up the darkness. He read a passage from the Bible, and his wife led the family in prayer as the children lit the candles in the Advent wreath. Camille, will you come forward to tell us about Christmas while the children light the candles in our Advent wreath?
Christmas is an annual festival in which Christians celebrate the birth of Jesus in a stable in Bethlehem. Traditional stories about Jesus' birth include announcement by angels, visits by shepherds, and 3 wise men following a star to find the baby. Many Christians mark the 4 weeks leading up to Christmas as Advent, a time of waiting, lighting 1 candle each week. The candles represent faith, hope, love, and peace. Today, most Advent candles are pink and purple, but as the Kingsley children learned, they can be any color. If you have a white taper candle, please hold it up high. If you will please stand as you are able, and we will sing the first verse only of O Little Town of Bethlehem, number 246.
Thank you. We're going to take another pause in our story for the collection of the offering for this church. But before we pass the plates, I want you to look in your order of service, and there's a red envelope inside. Everybody find their red envelope? That is for a collection for our staff, for a Christmas gift, for a holiday gift for our staff. So if you feel so inclined, if you would like to slide some money into that envelope and drop it in the offering plate as it passes, that will be distributed among our paid staff as a holiday gift from our congregation to them. The offering will also be accepted for any other offering you wish to put in, not in the envelope, for the work of this church. Our story mentioned those wise men who came bringing gifts. Each of you brings many gifts to this congregation. Your time to be here, whether in the congregation or on YouTube, your joy in singing the songs and making coffee. Trust me, that's a gift. You don't want me making coffee, so it's not a good thing. So anything, and actually the kids are going to help with the passing out. The kids are going to do the offerings. So the kids are going to help pass the offering plates now, and we thank you in advance for your generosity. Zinnia will come and lead us in dedicating our offering.
Our mission is to care, create beloved community, awaken hearts and minds, resist injustice, and act with compassion, embrace life, and care for the earth. To this we dedicate our offering.
And now back to our story.
Destiny and Derek got up early on January 1st. The New Year celebrations were fun last night, but they were looking forward to today, the final day of Kwanzaa. Destiny and Derek headed to the market with their grandmother in search of fresh fruit for the Kwanzaa celebration. The celebration was based on the harvest cycles in Africa, but it was possible to find some fresh produce even in the middle of winter in America. After buying apples and oranges, the family returned home, and their grandmother disappeared into her bedroom to change into her red and yellow kaftan. Derek practiced his drumming while Destiny arranged the fruit on the colorful kente cloth alongside the kinara with its 7 candles. Destiny looked at the kinara. Something didn't look right. Then she realized the problem. One of the green candles had burned down to a stub. There wasn't enough left to light it again. She thought about the last candle they planned to light tonight, the candle for Imani, or faith. She had to have faith they would find a candle. She searched through the drawers in the kitchen, but there were no more candles. She considered breaking one of the other green candles, but neither of them were long enough to make 2 candles. Then she had an idea. "I'll be right back," she called to Derek, and headed out of the apartment. She trotted down the stairs and knocked on the door of the Kingsleys' apartment. "Hi, Mr. Kingsley," she said when the door opened. "Do you have a green candle we can borrow for our kinara?" "I think so," he said, and handed over the stubby green candle that had filled their Advent wreath. "This is the only green candle we have, but now it is yours." "Thank you," she said, and headed back upstairs. In her apartment, she fit the candle into the kinara just as her grandmother came out of the bedroom. "Where did the candle come from?" she asked. "I noticed we needed one, but forgot it when we were out this morning." "I borrowed it from the Kingsleys," Destiny answered. As Derek played the drums and her grandmother talked about the final principle of Kwanzaa, Destiny lit the black candle, then the red ones, and finally the green ones, until the glow from the candles lit their faces. "Judy, will you come forward to share with us about Kwanzaa while the children light the kinara?"
Kwanzaa is an African-American celebration of culture held annually from December 26th through January 1st. The celebration began in 1966 in the U.S. and has since spread to the descendants of Africans in other countries. The kinara holds 7 candles, each representing one of the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. The black candle represents unity. The red candles represent self-determination, collective work and responsibility, and cooperative economics. The green candles represent purpose, creativity, and faith. So if you have a red tapered candle, hold it up high. And no red candles. There's some up here. Thank you.
The lights flickered as Lily and Noor sat on the floor with their mom, surrounded by 3 suitcases. The new apartment was slowly warming up, and the girls were eager to unpack their things before bedtime. They pulled out a few things to make their apartment in a new country feel a little more like home. Then the lights flickered again and went out. Lily ran to the window and gazed out at the snow falling on the darkened street. "All the lights are out," she cried. "It's okay," said. "I have a flashlight." "But how will Ab find us?" Noor said. "He has never been to the apartment, and it's dark outside." Lily and Noor imagined their father wandering the streets of this strange city in the snow all night looking for them. "I know," said "Let's meet our neighbors and see if anyone has a candle we can borrow." Lily and Noor and their mom headed across the hall to the Johnsons' apartment. "Good evening," said, as clearly as she could, proud to be practicing the English she was learning. "We are the Higazi family and just moved in. May we borrow a candle so my husband can find our apartment in the dark?" "Welcome," Derek said. "Here, this candle brings good luck." And he handed over the green candle that had been circulating through the apartment building. "Shukran, thank you," Lily and Noor cried, rushing back to their apartment to place the candle in the window. Derek went back in his apartment and told Destiny and his grandmother about their new neighbors. Destiny and Derek went to the Kingsleys' apartment to tell them what was going on in the upstairs apartment. The Kingsleys' kids headed over to see Paige and Eric, who headed to the Greens' apartment, who then shared the news with Rashmika and her family. Finally, Rashmika knocked on Mr. De Jesus' door. 15 minutes later, all the neighbors gathered outside Lily and Noor's door. When the family opened the door, the new neighbors came in with arms laden with food and a basket full of candles. They worked together to light up each window with a row of candles that cut through the heavily falling snow. When Mr. Higazi stepped off the bus, he felt his heart drop as he gazed down the cold, dark street. How would he find his family? He began walking and saw a glow ahead of him. He continued towards the glow, and his heart began to lighten. At the end of the block, he looked up to a row of windows filled with candles. He rushed up the stairs and opened the door. His girls flung themselves into his arms, and his wife smiled at him as she set down a warm dinner on a cloth spread on the floor. The apartment was filled with the light from the candles and the smell of good food and friendly smiling faces of the neighbors. he knew they had found a new home. Milo, will you come forward to light a candle for everyone who needs a light to help them find their home? And if you have a candle that hasn't been raised yet, lift it now.
I want to say a big thank you to our storyteller and all of our children for lighting the candles this morning in our story and sharing with us. And now I'd like to invite everyone to join us in our closing song. This will be This Little Light of Mine. I know we sang this just a couple of weeks ago, but it was just too perfect of a song to pass on this morning. And Charla has some new verses for us, so follow Charla's lead and we will enjoy this. Please stand as you are willing and able. People. Yay, tech team. All right, thank you guys for joining in on that song. It was a lot of fun. Reverend Mandy likes to wrap up services with So What, where she tells you the most important thing to take home from the service. And I'm looking out and I'm thinking probably each of you is going to take something a little bit different from this service. So I will tell you my So What from the service, but first I want you to take a minute, turn to somebody close to you, and tell them one thing that you're going to take from today's service, or one thing that you might do this week after having listened to this service today. So go. I'll ring the chime when it's time to come back. Thank you. Now I'll share my So What with you. Why do we look to the traditions from the past and to those of other cultures? Why do we light candles today? And why do we follow the star or look to the lights and let them guide us? We look back to learn from the wisdom of ages, to recognize what we can learn from history, the experiences from others, and to all the stories that make up the past. We kindle our own lights to give hopes to ourselves and to others. The hurting, the lost, the immigrants, the homeless, the incarcerated. And we look to the lights and we follow the star to meet other people on our journey, to learn from our differences, to discover our similarities, and to change the world by combining our lights together. David, will you come up and lead us in extinguishing our chalice?
The darkness of the whole world cannot swallow the glowing of a candle. We carry the glow of this chalice in this community to light the world.
Thank you, David, for extinguishing the chalice, and thank you because he is going to play our postlude for us in a few minutes, so be sure to be listening for that. But first, it's time for announcements. So does anyone have any announcements to make? Come on up, Farron.
Hi, everyone. My name's Farron. I'm the administrator here if you guys haven't seen my face or heard my name yet. I have a couple of announcements for this week. First thing I want to start off with is a clarification. On the back of your order of service, on Tuesday nights, we have a new suffragettes meeting. This is not the same suffragettes meeting that Selena so kindly used to host. This is an external rental that uses our space on Tuesday nights. The new suffragettes, according to their website, their mission is to galvanize public support to actively promote human rights policies to ensure privacy, healthcare, and reproductive autonomy. I've heard that there's been some interest. Maybe a couple people are interested in joining those meetings on Tuesday nights. If you're interested, I can get you in contact with the leader of that group. You guys can just send an email to the office, and I can get that information to you. The next thing is we do have our Christmas Eve service scheduled. That is going to be Saturday, December 24th at 6 p.m. here at church. Some of the details we are still working out, but I do know that you need to wear your holiday pajamas or your most festive attire. We'll have holiday snacks, refreshments, that kind of stuff, so just bring yourself in your jammies. On Sunday, Merry Christmas. It is Christmas. There will not be a normal 11 a.m. service on Christmas Day. If you are interested in doing something with the UUCC community on Christmas, please send Reverend Mandy an email. She is collecting interest right now for maybe some kind of gathering she's going to put together later on in the afternoon on Christmas Day. If you need her email, feel free to come find me. I'll write it on a Post-it note for you. Or for my friends online, it's minister@uucc.org. Just let her know that you are interested in coming. Last thing is that the church office will be closed from Christmas Day until New Year's Day. That is Sunday to Sunday next week. The office will be closed. I will not be checking my emails. I will be at home for Christmas. But I will get back to you on January 2nd when I return to the office. And I hope you all have a wonderful Merry Christmas.
Any other announcements? Come on up top. We got dueling announcements. Judy, go ahead.
A couple of announcements for the Social Justice Committee. We will be standing out this Monday, so I welcome you all to join us at Miller Park from 4:30 to 5:30. We will not be standing out again until January the 8th. And one other thing, I do have a reading for today for the environment for the Social Justice Committee. And when we gather again in January, we will, our focus is always on the environment because everything's connected, right? So in January, our focus will move a little bit to food insecurity. So we have some bags that are going to be available. We have several different things for you if you want to become engaged in that. So I just want to let you know what's coming. It's interesting, I had no idea that today we would be focusing on candles and light. But here is the reading for today, and I think you'll see the synchronicity in that. This is from Clarissa Pinkola Estes. Ours is not the task of fixing the entire world all at once, but of stretching out to mend the part of the world that is within our reach. It is not given to us to know which acts or by whom will cause the critical mass to tip towards an enduring good. What is needed for dramatic change is an accumulation of acts, adding to, adding more, continuing. One of the most calming and powerful actions you can do to intervene in a stormy world is to stand and show your soul. The light of the soul throws sparks, can send up flares, builds signal fours, causes proper matters to catch fire. To display the lantern of soul in times such as these, to be fierce and to show mercy towards others, both are acts of immense bravery and greatest necessity. Thank you.
Well, I've heard you sing today, and I'm recruiting all of you for the choir, which will start up again on January 8th, right? You'll all be here about 9 o'clock is what I'm guessing. And anyway, and I'll tell you what part to sing and, that kind of thing. But anyway, for old old choir members, we are going to resume again that second Sunday in January. But it's a big change. I'm the new music director. It sounds weird to say it at all. Everybody's going to miss Jennifer a lot. But there's change. And if you feel like you've been thinking, maybe I want to sing in the choir, maybe I don't, now's a good time to start out as we get to know each other also. So I'm going to encourage all of you. I'll probably call several of you too several times about it also. So anyway, and wouldn't it be fun? Imagine this. There are more people standing up here singing in the choir than sitting out there while we're singing. That's the goal. Anyway, okay, so January 8th, 9-ish is when we'll start. First choir announcement. Second one, of course, Christmas Eve is coming up. And what I want to do is I want to do a pop-up choir. So if you can come a little bit early this coming Saturday, is it Saturday? Sorry, Saturday. And you think to yourself, I don't want to be committed to to being in a choir all the time, but I like to sing Christmas tunes, well, this is a good opportunity. Just show up and we'll find a part for you. And we may decide all together what songs we sing. It's just going to be a good time. So pop-up choir this coming Saturday. If you'll be here by 5:30 so we can throw something together really fast, and then we'll be able to sing all together for the Christmas Eve service. Okay, last thing, I swear. Anyway, for those of you who like to show up on Wednesdays, or those of you who are looking for something to do on Wednesday mornings at 10 o'clock, we do have coffee hour coming up. It'll be the last one of the year coming up, and we'll be talking about the solstice and whatever else we feel like talking about. But that's 10 o'clock on Wednesday, and then I'm out of here. Okay.
Any other announcements before mine? All right, last announcements on Wednesday this week. Wednesday is the winter solstice, and this is our 14th year of having a candlelit labyrinth on the solstice. After service, we're going to clear all these chairs out. Everyone's help is welcome if you would like to help us do that. And then this afternoon, we're going to be laying out a labyrinth in here inside. For those of you who are willing to brave the cold, we will also have an outdoor labyrinth down the trail at the end of the parking lot, also candle lit. And we will also this year have a winter solstice altar and, weather permitting, a Yule fire going as well. There will be a few, not a lot, but a few treats, some hot chocolate as well. The outdoor events start at 5 and run from 5 to 7 for the outdoor labyrinth. The indoor labyrinth runs 6 to 9, and I believe the fire is going to be, and the altar are going to be going the whole time. Is that correct? Yes. All right. Thank you, everyone, and David is going to play us a postlude as everyone heads out today. Thank you so much.